Hello everybody, Image here with the conclusion to Karjakin versus Malinin from 2002. So when we last left the game, GM Sergey Karjakin, the 12-year-old child prodigy with the white pieces, had a position that didn't look all that encouraging. He's down a pawn, his queenside pawn structure is compromised, some of the dark squares around his king are looking a little bit weak because of the f3 pawn push that he made earlier in the game. By way of compensation, he's got the bishop pair, and critically a dark squared bishop that black doesn't. But is that in itself enough compensation for the situation in which he finds himself? And the answer is yes, but not for the reason you'd think. In this position, Karjakin has an incredible attacking resource, and I will suggest that you pause the video for a few seconds and see if you can spot it. I'll reveal it myself in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang. Knight g7. Knight takes g7. Alright, so Karjakin is sacrificing this knight, and black has to consider whether or not he wants to take it. And in considering this, he has to think about why Karjakin made this particular sacrifice. So, what is notable about this sacrifice, and why would Karjakin have chosen to have made it? Well, getting rid of that g7 pawn weakens these two squares. These are dark squares. And since white has a dark squared bishop and black doesn't, white has an easier time attacking these squares. If black doesn't take, white has, for example, bishop to h6, and there's suddenly a lot of pressure on the black king side. So that's kind of unpleasant for black, and white has other ways of getting pressure along this now open g line, like moving his queen out this way. So if black doesn't take the sacrifice, it's still going to be very complicated for him to defend it. So black takes the sacrifice. And now Karjakin has those resources that I showed, like queen e1 to g3 to get the queen onto the g line, but it seems to me like these attacking resources might be a little bit too slow. So how does Karjakin continue his attack? Because right now he's down a piece, and if he doesn't keep his pressure pretty relentless, then black is going to have time to consolidate his position and win pretty easily off of this material advantage. So what's the best way to continue the attack in this position? Here's a hint. It's not the move shown with the arrows on the screen. Pause the video again for a few seconds, see if you can find it. I'll reveal it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang. Bishop to h6 check. It's absolutely incredible. Karjakin is sacrificing another piece. And once again, what happens if black doesn't take the sacrifice? Well, he only has two choices of moves, really. He can either retreat to g8 or take the sacrifice. If he goes to g8, this rook drops for nothing, so he won't do that. And he can't retreat here because it's covered by the other bishop. So, if he goes to g8, then white has this queen e1 to g3 plan, and black's defense is still pretty harried and complicated. So, black takes the sacrifice. And this opens up a whole different can of worms, but one that Malinin thinks he might be able to defend. So Karjakin keeps pressuring with queen d2 check, and this forces the king further down the board. Now you might ask here, well, why can't he just retreat his king, say, to g7? And the answer is because of queen g5 check. This forces the black king back to h8. After that, this knight drops with check. And in the very worst case scenario, white has a perpetual check going back and forth between f6 and g5 to end the game in a draw. So, up all that much material, maybe Malinin didn't want to get into that. So he moves the king to g5 instead. After g5, Karjakin keeps on checking and attacking with g4 check, and this compels Malinin to give the piece back with knight takes g4. After f takes g4 check, queen takes g4 check, king h1. White's king is looking a little bit loose too, but the thing is, it's actually pretty safe on h1 for now. The only two squares that black can deliver check on are e4 and f3, and both of those are covered by white pieces. So white's king safe for now. Black plays d6, looking to get this bishop into the game, finally. And here white has two choices of moves. Bishop e2 pins the black queen to the black king, let white get a lot of this material back, actually get materially ahead, and rook f6 threatens an immediate checkmate with either rook h6 or queen to h6 checkmate after that. Which of these two is the stronger move? Pause the video again and give that a think, and see which one you come up with. The move Karjakin played, which is actually the strongest one, I'll be revealing in 3, 2, 1, 0, was rook to f6. This checkmate threat is just too much for black to deal with at the time. It is actually a much more forceful continuation than bishop e2 would have been. Let's just have a quick look at what would have happened if he played bishop e2 instead. Here, f6 is the best move for black. It prevents that rook from coming into f6 and renewing that threat later. The queen comes off the board, and the material situation looks like this. White has a queen, black has a knight, a bishop, and 2 pawns for that queen. That's a bit of a material advantage for white, but it is going to be a long and annoying slog to convert this into a one game, even for such a grandmaster. Rook f6, though, just wins pretty much by force here. After queen g5 to block the line for that checkmate, white plays bishop to e2 check. Black blocks the check with bishop g4, and after white recaptures with bishop takes g4 check, black resigns. Why does black resign? Because no matter how he deals with this check, he is getting mated. The simplest way is if he takes back with the queen, then instantly queen to h6 checkmate. So that's out. Well, what if he takes with the king instead? Then after rook g1 check, king to h4, the queen drops, and the next move he gets mated down here. What if he ignores the bishop and just tries to run for his life? Then after queen f2, he's forced to take it. Rook g1, king h5, rook takes g5, king takes g5, and then it's checkmate as a result of this sequence. So, no matter what he does, Malinin is getting checkmated, and seeing this, he resigns the game. So, Karjakin's wild two-piece sacrifice pays off for him, delivering a crushing mating attack. It was amazing for me to see when I saw it for the first time. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did at that time. This is Image signing out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.